The line at Chipotle moves fast. You've got your tray. 3 coworkers behind you, people you've known for 2 weeks. You tap your card. Red X. You tap again. Red X. The guy behind you, Derek from marketing, laughs. Not mean, just a laugh. Bro, you good? You say you grabbed the wrong card. You didn't. You let someone else's card cover the $12.80, and you tell yourself you'll Venmo them tonight. You don't. That's the moment. Not the decline. The laugh. Something in you decides, right there in line, that this can never happen again. You spend the next 20 years making sure it doesn't. Here's what nobody tells you about that promise. You're 22. $890 in checking. $34,000 in student loans sit behind that number like a shadow. You live in Columbus, Ohio, 2-bedroom apartment, split 3 ways. Your room barely fits the bed and a dresser from Facebook Marketplace. $19 an hour at a coffee shop, plus Saturday shifts, serving tables when you can get them. The group chat is called Apartment 4B. Do not ignore. Every month, someone drops the electric bill in there. $340, split 3 ways. You see it. You mean to send your part that night. You don't. 4 days pass, your part still isn't in, nobody says anything. Then Priya, your roommate, is standing in the kitchen microwaving something, and she says kind of light, not mean at all. Oh hey, did the Venmo go through? App's been glitchy for me. And you both know. That's not really what she's asking. You say you'll send it tonight. You send it right there, standing in the kitchen, phone in one hand, her watching you do it. That's the whole thing about being 22 and behind. Nobody chases you down. Nobody yells. They just stand in the kitchen while you Venmo them back, and you both pretend that's normal. You're paying the minimum on your student loans. $340 a month, the same number as the electric bill, which feels like a joke you didn't ask to be in. The rate is 6.8%. Here's the math nobody hands you at 22. At the minimum payment, $34,000 at 6.8%. Takes almost 19 years to pay off. By the end, you've paid back close to $51,000 total. $17,000 of that is just interest. Money that bought you nothing. You don't know that yet. You just see the minimum payment and pay it, because it's the number that doesn't bounce your account. Your phone buzzes at work one day. Bank notification, low balance warning. You're standing at the register, and you flip the phone face down on the counter before your manager walks by, fast, like it's a text you don't want anyone reading over your shoulder. Nobody was even looking. You do it anyway. The rule at 22, nobody's watching your bank account. They're watching how fast you Venmo them back. You tell yourself this is temporary. Everyone tells themselves that at 22. You microwave the same leftovers Priya just used the microwave for. You go to bed. Tuesday, again tomorrow. You get the job at 24, real job, badge and everything, $52,000 a year, direct deposit, a laptop with the company logo on it. You move out. First place that's just yours. A studio, $1,150 a month, close enough to walk to work on the days your car's acting up. The car is a 2014 Civic. It's fine. It's always fine, right up until it isn't. You park in the senior lot 3 days this week, because the junior lot's full by 7:20. There's a little sign that says reserved. You sit in the car a second before getting out and glance at the rearview mirror. Not fixing your hair, checking if the security guy's walking your way. He's not. Not today. You check anyway. Inside, you're doing fine. Actually fine. Your manager, Roy, introduces you to a client in the hallway and calls you by the wrong name. Twice. You laugh it off and correct him gently. He says, right, and moves on, already looking at his phone. At lunch, you bring leftovers in the same Tupperware you've had since college, the lid a little warped from the dishwasher. A guy from the next team, Chase, glances at it in the break room fridge, says nothing, grabs his DoorDash bag off the counter, and leaves. He didn't say a word. You still notice it. You start bringing lunch in a plain brown bag after that. Nobody asked you to. Then the car makes a sound on the way home, grinding, low front right wheel, brakes. $600, give or take. You don't have $600 sitting anywhere close to free. $0 in anything you'd call an emergency fund, because nobody ever told you that's a thing you build before you need it. The 600 goes on the card. 24.99% APR. You tell yourself 3 months, it takes 7. You shrug, whatever. You drive to work the next morning like nothing happened, because to everyone else, nothing did. Getting ignored and getting suspected feel like opposites. They're not. Same hand, different glove. You're doing better than 22. The number proves it. But you still flip your phone face down when the banking app buzzes at your desk, out of a habit that never got the memo that things improved. 26. $68,000 a year. Bigger apartment, same building, an actual bedroom door instead of a wall that doesn't reach the ceiling. You buy a couch, $1,200. Afterpay at checkout, 4 payments, 0 interest, tap, and it's yours today. You tap it. Then Maya posts the Cancun trip. You haven't talked to Maya in 4 months. Story after story, infinity pool, 6 of your old friend group, all there together. You weren't in the group chat when they booked. You ask if there's room. There is. $1,380, flight and resort. You put it on the card. At the airport, waiting to board, you're scrolling, and everyone's already posted their outfit pics from the resort lobby. You take one too, standing by the gate, still in your regular clothes, and you crop it so it looks like you're already there. Nobody asked to see it early. You just didn't want to be the last one to post. Your income went up $16,000 this year. Your spending went up by $19,000. Nobody hands you a chart for that. You just feel richer and end up thinner in the account, and you can't quite say why. The rearview mirror thing again, except now it's not a security guard. It's before a first date from the apps, fixing your hair, making sure the light's right, same motion, different reason. Funny thing is, you don't even notice you're still doing it. Back home, someone in the group chat asks how the couch turned out. You say it's great. You don't mention the 4 Afterpay payments still going, the one that hits the same week as rent does. Everyone else is doing the same quiet edit on their side. None of you knows it. You shrug it off. Whatever. Brunch again Sunday, same table, same performance, nobody checking anyone's math out loud. Instagram doesn't watch you spend. It watches you not spend. That's the one thing it never forgives. You're not behind exactly. Not ahead either. Just running a little faster than the paycheck, telling yourself the gap closes on its own. It doesn't. Nothing ever does. 28. 1 in the morning, scrolling the banking app for no reason. The way you check anything at 1 in the morning. The number stops you. $11,400. Across 2 cards. You try to reconstruct where it came from, and you can't. A gym membership you used twice, $60 a month for 14 months. A few DoorDash orders that felt like nothing at the time. The Cancun trip, still not paid off 2 years later. A new pair of AirPods after you lost the first ones. None of it was one big mistake. All of it added up anyway. At 24.99%, paying only the minimum, $11,400 takes 25 years to pay off. You'll pay back more than double what you borrowed. Money that bought you nothing. You turn off the banking app notifications that week. Not because you fixed anything. Because you didn't want to see it every morning at your desk, where anyone walking past could glance at your screen. Brunch that Sunday, someone asks how work's going, how everything's going, and you say, good, really good, actually. You don't say the number. Nobody at that table says their number either. You bet money on it. Everyone's phone is face down on the table the whole meal, and it's not because anyone's being polite. At 22, you hid that you had nothing. At 28, you hide that you have less than the feed says you do. There's a night you actually open a spreadsheet, 2 balances, 2 rates, 1 number at the bottom. You stare at it for a long time. You close the laptop, whatever. You'll deal with it when the bonus comes in. The bonus comes in. More on that later. For now, you just close the laptop, flip the phone face down on the nightstand out of the same habit as always, and go to sleep. Nothing new. No one's watching. You almost forget that it used to be the whole goal. 31, $89,000 now, and a title that didn't exist for you 2 years ago. Team leads. Your name shows up differently in Slack, a little tag under it, lead, like it's supposed to mean something different about you than it did last Tuesday. An actual office, not a corner one. Just a door that closes. The two people who report to you call you boss sometimes, half joking. You laugh along. Third or fourth time it happens, you notice, they're not really talking to you. They're talking to the door and the fact that you sign off on their time off requests now. Then Jordan texts you. Haven't heard from Jordan in almost 2 years. Text starts normally. How have you been? I saw you got promoted. Congrats, man. 4 messages in, warm, easy, as if no time had passed. 5th message, any chance you could spot me $800 just for a couple weeks? Car thing. Good for it. You send it, of course you send it. But you screenshot the conversation first and text it to your sister with no caption, just the screenshot, because you both already know what she's gonna say back. She sends a single laughing emoji. That's it. That's the whole conversation. Neither of you has to explain the joke. You start doing that math on every message now from anyone you haven't heard from in a while. You hate that you do it. You keep doing it. Company matches 4% on your 401k. You're contributing exactly 4%, not because you did the math, but because that's the number HR mentioned on day 1, and you never touched it again. On $89,000, that match alone is $3,560 a year, showing up whether you think about it or not. You bump it up 0.5% that week. Small move. Nobody's watching that one. That's kind of the point of it. You're doing well. Genuinely well. But there's a specific kind of quiet in this office, with the door that closes. The quiet of being agreed with more than you're actually known. Walking to your car some nights, you wonder if anyone in that building would recognize you without the title in front of your name. You don't answer that one yet. You get in the car, check the mirror, out of habit. $35. You added up one Sunday night? Index funds, the 401k, the small rental unit, $310,000. You don't tell anyone that number. Not even the friend group. The rental's a 1-bedroom condo, $210,000, rents for $1,450 a month. After the mortgage, the HOA fee, and the maintenance buffer, you are clear about $400 a month without doing anything except answering the occasional text about a leaky faucet. $310,000, growing at something close to the market's long-term average, makes you roughly $24,800 this year, without working a single extra hour. You don't feel rich. You feel careful. The friend group plans a real trip this time, a week in Tulum, split evenly. There's a new group chat for it. You're not in the first version. You get added a day later, once someone says, wait, did we add them? Nobody's being mean about it. You just notice. Then there's a second, smaller chat. 3 people. The ones who confront the deposit if someone flakes. You're in that one immediately. You screenshot both chats side by side, no caption, and just stare at your own phone for a second before you close it out and go back to whatever you were doing. Every message that comes in now gets a half second of math before you answer it. Is this a friend checking in? Or a friend checking in before something? You hate that you do this. You do it anyway. That's when you realize the richer the group chat gets, the smaller it gets too. Money doesn't buy you out of being watched. It just changes what the watching costs. You go to bed that Sunday having found the number $310,000, and instead of feeling like you arrived somewhere, you feel like you just found a new floor to stand on. There's always another floor. Whatever. You set an alarm, Monday again. $40 years old. $1.4 million across the rental, the retirement accounts, the brokerage, and the house you bought last year, the first one with an actual gate. 4-digit keypad. You picked the code yourself. Not your birthday, because your accountant half-joked that people guess birthdays first. Then Marcus shows up. Closest friend since sophomore year of college. Driving through town, swings by, doesn't call ahead because you two have never needed to. He pulls up to the gate. No code on his phone. No reason there would be. He calls you instead, laughing a little. Bro, your house has a bouncer. 40 seconds for you to buzz him in. 40 seconds isn't long. But something happens in it. A small, specific kind of distance opening up between two people who used to just walk into each other's places without knocking. Later, on the patio, his phone was face up on the table the whole night. Yours is face down, out of a habit so old now, you don't even register doing it. He notices. Doesn't say anything. Just clocks it, the way you used to clock things at other people's tables years ago. Most of your 1.4 million isn't sitting anywhere you could grab it this week. It's in the rental, in accounts you can't touch for another 20 years without a penalty, in a brokerage account you don't want to sell and trigger a tax bill on. On paper, you look wealthy. In cash, you're a lot closer to normal than the number suggests. You and Marcus have a good night, same jokes you've had for 15 years. Driving him back to his car later, past the gate, past the keypad, you catch yourself thinking about those 40 seconds again. You don't mention it to him. You just remember it. The gate keeps out the strangers. It keeps out almost everyone else too. "44. You stop checking the banking app every morning, not because you don't care, because there's nothing left to check for. An accountant handles the accounts now, a woman named Denise, a 2-line summary each quarter, nothing else unless something needs a decision. You used to know your balance down to the dollar. Now you couldn't say the exact number if someone asked. You don't say the number out loud, not to Denise, not to Marcus, not to anyone. Once a number gets big enough, saying it changes every conversation after it. The phone rings on a Tuesday. Marcus, you brace for it, out of habit, the half-second math on every call for a decade now. Favor, ask, 4 warm sentences before the 5th one lands. It isn't, he just wanted to talk. Kids' soccer game, free this weekend, no reason behind it. You wait for the ask anyway, it doesn't come. Your phone's sitting face up on the counter for the whole call. You notice it halfway through. You don't flip it. You just let it sit there, screen lit, nobody around to see it anyway. And that's somehow the part that catches in your chest more than anything Marcus actually said. You spent 22 years making sure nobody would ever laugh at a declined card again. Somewhere in there, you stopped needing them not to. You look out the window after you hang up. Nothing urgent on the other side of it. No notification is lighting up the screen. No one is waiting on a reply. Just a Tuesday, doing nothing in particular. The watching was never the problem. It was the distraction. You're in the car outside your own house. Engine off. Not going anywhere, just sitting there a minute, the way you do now. You glance at the rearview mirror. Same motion you've made 1,000 times. Parking lot security, a first date, the garage door behind you. Nothing back there. No one to check for. Your phone sitting face up in the cup holder. It has been for a while now. You didn't put it there on purpose. It buzzes. Marcus is sending a photo from the soccer game. No caption, nothing underneath it. You look at it a second longer than you need to. You think about the Chipotle line. 22 years old, card declining, Derek laughing, bro, you good. You were so sure standing there that the rest of your life was going to be about making sure that never happened again. It never did happen again. Somewhere along the way, you also stopped needing it not to. Nobody's watching. For the first time, that's not an escape. It's just a Tuesday.